members, branch officials, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The weight of history, I am aware, is heavy. Expectations are large. I am accepting a post previously held by some of the finest political leaders in our country. Mr. Jairam Reddy, Mr. Harish Sharma, the formidable A.D. Patel, late Mr. S.M. Koya, people from whom I and so many others draw such inspiration.
The coup culture. We opposed all coups, 87, 2000 and 2006, because once we end it, we development, employment, and all of the things that we want, economic, the upgrade of our economic life in this country. And how do we stop that, the coup culture? The first thing is not to vote for the coup leader. We made a mistake in 87. After 87, people voted for Rambuka. That was a big mistake. He became Prime Minister, and the soldiers in the camp thought, yeah, if he can do it, I'll do it too. And it happened again. People beginning to say, we've heard some criticism, well, the NFP worked with Rambuka in 99. And this is a very important point. In 99, Rambuka was no longer just a coup leader. People had endorsed him as Prime Minister and elected him to Parliament. And the same thing will happen with Frank. Once he's elected, we have to respect the wishes of the people. But we are telling you, don't spread this message to all your relatives. Let's not force other parliamentarians to work with a coup leader, because it emboldens other soldiers to do it. Accountability and no more coups. Thank you very much.
Hello, I am Sunil Kumar. I am a candidate for the National Federation Party in 2014 elections. Today I am going to talk about a number of issues. But firstly, I would start with the cost of living in this country. As you know, particularly those mothers who are manning their homes would know that the cost of living in this country has gone up so much that today's income in the households are not enough to meet their needs. First of all, the food prices in this country has increased by about 70% in the last 7 or 8 years. This is posing a serious constraint on households in meeting their needs. There are many examples of this. For instance, the price of milk has increased at least 2-folds. Reva life milk that used to cost us $1.39 in 2006, today costs us more than $2.70. Reva butter that used to cost us $2.99, today costs around $9. Lamb chops, which is a protein requirement for households, the price used to be around $6. Today, the price is $17. And chicken, for instance, which used to cost us about $8, today costs us around $16. Now, this is a huge increase for households to meet their daily protein requirements, which basically puts huge constraint on families. How can we address this problem? Now, there are 3 reasons why these prices have increased. First, the cost of inputs have increased, and the government is responsible for this because instead of reducing VAT, it increased VAT when it came into power. In 2009, the Bainimarama government increased the VAT from 12.5% to 15% instead of bringing it down to 10%. In addition to this, the duties on products that we import actually have increased when it should have decreased. In addition to this, in 2009, the government devalued the dollar. Devalued the dollar by 20%. This increased the prices of imported goods, particularly foodstuff that we consume in households, increased by at least 20%. This is what has caused the problem. Now, what would NFP do about this? The National Federation Party is going to take immediate action to bring relief to households. First, we are going to reduce VAT, which is the value-added tax, from 15% to 10%. Secondly, we are going to reduce duties on all these products that are consumed by households on daily basis. Apart from this, I think there is a need for the government to create employment. When the income of the households increase, some of these issues, even when the cost of living is increasing, can be addressed. In the last 8 years, we have hardly generated any income. The government needs to act on this with urgency. How would we do that? First of all, in this country we need a stable government. A stable government that is responsive. This will create confidence. Confidence within the people, confidence for the investors, both domestic investors and investors abroad. Once we start getting investments, people bring in monies to establish factories, to establish businesses, there would be more jobs created. And within 2 or 3 years, we should be able to create a lot of relief for thousands of households once new businesses are created. We can see this very clearly, particularly in urban areas where poverty has increased. I can name a few areas, for instance, Wailea in Batuanga, in Jittu State, in Suva, in Samambula, in the Muslim League State, in Narere. All of these areas where there are thousands of households, you can very clearly see unemployed people. Within households there are 2 or 3 people who are not working. All these needs to be addressed, and it can only be addressed if we are able to create employment. Investments is the best way to do that. And once a stable government comes in, and particularly so, formed by a party like National Federation Party, which has got very highly qualified people. Our lineup is full of highly qualified people. We have lawyers, we have scientists, we have economists who can provide these skills in constructing, in implementing good policies for the government. Today the unemployment rate has risen, as I have said, and according to the National Employment Center, 33,000 people were looking for jobs. And of course those jobs are not there. And in addition to that, there are 12,000 graduates who don't have employment. 12,000 graduates are looking for jobs. Where will these 12,000 graduates go? These are the people whom we have trained in our universities. This is where we need investments and government policies that drive investments. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would request you to pay particular attention to this. This is not something, there's no magic. It requires hard work, and it requires honest politicians, ministers who work hard to design policies, to analyze our economic situations, to be able to put in place appropriate policies. That's what is needed. Okay, apart from this, I want to talk about low growth rate in this country. Low growth rate means that the economy of the country is growing too slow. This is a perennial problem in Fiji. For the last 30 years, actually, we have seen low growth rate, which basically means that the economy is barely growing. The economy is barely creating employment and jobs for people. Today, in the last 8 years, the economy grew by 1.7% on average. And if we were to compare this in the world with countries that are of similar characteristics as Fiji, a good example would be Mauritius. In Mauritius, where we have similar composition of population, just as Fiji, where we have a colonial past, where people from India were brought in as indentured laborers, Mauritius too has a similar history. People of Indian origin were brought into Mauritius as indentured laborers, and they worked on the sugarcane farms. The population composition of Fiji is similar to that of Mauritius, where the people of African origin, Madagascar origin, Indians, small proportion of Europeans. Similarly, in Fiji, we have a composition of that sort. In 1986, Fiji stood above Mauritius in all economic and social indicators, which basically means the average income of Fijians in 1986 was better than that of Mauritius. But as you know, that Fiji went through political upheaval. In 1987, there was a coup. Then we were struggling to rebuild our political infrastructure. We went through constitutional changes and so on. We had a new constitution in 1997, on which an election was carried out in 1999, and a Labour Party government was formed. That government again was toppled in May 2000, and we went through an upheaval which was characterized as, and is often characterized as, a difficult time for Fiji. Then we went through a reconstruction process, and we had a coup again in 2006, which basically means we have gone through a series of political upheavals. Compared to Mauritius, we have been in political turmoil. What has happened? As a result, Fiji has on average barely grown at, say, by 2%, and Mauritius has grown by 5%, a difference of 3%. But what is the cumulative effect of that? Today, Fiji's per capita income is $4,000 and that of Mauritius is $12,000. What is the difference? The difference is this. Mauritius has a completely free education system. It's not like ours, what the government is promising. The government's promise of free education is not what it actually seems. There are very many problems which I'll talk about later on. Completely free education from kindergarten right up to as a result of this, Mauritius has a completely free education system, right from the kindergarten to the tertiary institutions. Completely free, which basically means students in Mauritius joining the university are completely taken care of by the government. Whereas in our case, we have scholarships only for 600 students, and all those students below that are going to take loans and repay those loans after they have found jobs, after they have graduated. Now, this is not completely free as it sounds. Apart from this, in Mauritius, the healthcare system is absolutely free, and not only that, in Mauritius, heart surgery and complicated surgeries can be done. Unlike in Fiji, when there's a situation like that, we have to take people out of the country, to India, to New Zealand, to Australia, which is costing millions of dollars to our taxpayers. All this can change. All this can change if Fiji starts growing economically, which is possible. Which is absolutely possible if we have a government that puts in place right policies, that creates confidence in the people, in the workers, and in the investors. This country needs investments, needs goodwill. That is what will solve our problems. And there is so much of poverty in this country, as I have said before. There's no magic wand to it. We need good policies. We need government that creates confidence amongst investors, and we start generating jobs for our younger generations. That is the solution to the problem. And NFP is offering you that option. Highly qualified people, our lineup of candidates are all ready to join the government and implement policies that are the best you can imagine. So that's the offer we are giving you, and this is the reason why there's a need for change in government. We cannot have dictatorship. We have had dictatorship for the last 8 years, and the people had enough of it. This government is hoodwinking the people. In the last budget, it allocated lots of monies to repair roads. Even when so much of money has been allocated for roads, we still see potholes, we still see crooked roads today, after 522 million. What is happening? The government doesn't have the capacity to implement systems, to implement checks and balances in these projects. It didn't even sign the project with the details. It doesn't have the mechanism to monitor, to evaluate the quality of work that is being done on our roads. This is the problem. Within a few months, roads get in the most optimal manner. And only a good government, accountable government can do that. This government has failed the people of this country because it is not accountable. It is not providing the Auditor General's report for the last 7 years. Any government worth its salt needs to do that, needs to tell the people where it is, how it is raising its taxes, the revenues, and how it is spending the money. And this government has not done that. And it doesn't feel obliged even to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for change. It's time for change. This election is giving us that opportunity. If you vote for NFP, if you vote for people like us, you are going to serve the generations to come. You are voting for the future. This is our motto. We are here to provide this country with the best, most accountable government you can imagine. Thank you.
Gentlemen, this was Dr. Sunil Kumar, an NFP candidate. My name is Rakesh Kumar. I'm his campaign manager. Bola, namaste, and hello. I just wanted to tell you that this government has given us only limited time to campaign, so his voice cannot reach to you personally, but we do care about you. That's why we have set up a system with our campaign, that we have people in your area that will work closely with us. I guess you probably know by them who they are, and these people will come even before election, and they will be in your area even after election. If you have any concern, if you have any problem, you can always come to them and share with it, and we will make sure that everyone's problem, everyone's voice is heard after we get elected. Ladies and gentlemen, I knew Sunil Kumar for the last 3 years. He is a great man, and I challenge you, if you vote him, he will be there among you, and he will serve you with all his heart and desire. Dr. Sunil Kumar doesn't need to be a politician. One day he came to me and asked me, Rakesh, I want to fight an election, and I laughed at him. The reason being because he already got salaries in USP running the business, and he got so much investment around that he really can sit down for like next 30-40 years and the money wouldn't finish. But the reason Dr. Sunil Kumar is decided to come in politics and want to be in the government and get 1/3 of the salary what he's earning right now from the university is because he loves the concern and a problem of people. All his life he had taught people about poverty analysis and taught about and studied about poverty. So he's there to serve you, not for money, but he's really coming out with his heart to do his duty with full of heart and compassion. So ladies and gentlemen, I challenge you, if you vote Sunil Kumar, if you vote NFP, you will not only have better future, but there will be people among you who we appointed that you don't have to knock doors to the big buildings and the big officers who will never get hurt, but there will be people among you that will work for you. So I challenge you, vote Dr. Sunil Kumar, vote NFP.